Hi first grade, today we're going to be inspired by ladybugs and ladybug landscapes. So today we're going to be reading The Grouchy Ladybug by Eric Carle. I put a link in the lesson plan so you can have this read to you and enjoy the book. We're going to be inspired by this as we create our project today. Now, when talking about insects, a good word to know that we've talked about before is symmetry. Symmetry is when it looks the same on both sides, or at least that they're equal in their size and shape. You could also say that they mirror each other. So a butterfly or other insects would be a really good example. You may have already seen some ladybugs start to come out this spring. Ladybugs are cute little insects. They don't hurt you, but they sure will walk fast across your arm if they ever get on you. In this project, I hope that you're able to identify color, texture, form, line, and emphasis in nature and our environment. So for this project, I'm going to be creating a landscape. If we haven't talked about landscape yet, what a landscape is a picture or a painting or drawing of something that is outside. So it could be these mountains, it could be a river. Now notice there's some houses. That's okay, you can put buildings inside of your landscape, but if you put too many buildings, your landscape will become a cityscape. In the way that I'm doing this project, I'm going to be having to choose whether I want to create the background of my landscape or the sky to be warm colors, like the ones you see here, red, orange, and yellow. Or maybe I want to do a sky that is a little bit more cool, which would be purples, blues, and greens. Now, I don't often see green skies, but maybe you decide that you want to have green skies. In order for everyone to be able to do this, I'm expecting that this will be a collage. A collage means that you're taking different pieces of paper and combining them together to create a new image. So this could be junk mail, it could be magazine. I'm going to be painting and creating some of my own paper if that's what you want to do too. Hi, first grade again. So now I'm going to show you how I'm going to create mine. Remember, use what you have at home. If you decide that you want to purchase something for this project, awesome, go for it. But remember, I'm not expecting families to have to pay for more materials, just use what you have at home. Our goal today is to create maybe a landscape with a ladybug inspired by the book that we read. So for this project, I picked out a few things. I have some watercolor paper, and this is the Canson watercolor paper for those who are interested in purchasing this. I believe I got this at Walmart, but any paper will work if you want to do watercolor. Just try to go for that thick paper, or even cardstock will work. I'm going to draw a ladybug on this piece of paper and then cut it out and then attach it to my landscape. Since I'm going to be painting, I'm going to be using my watercolor set, a little bit of water, and a paintbrush. I'm also going to be using some crayons for a wax resist effect. So you may want to watch me do the full process first, and then you can come up with your own design on your own. Remember, you don't have to do what I did, but if you want to, that's fine. Let's get started. Okay, so I'm going to start with this piece of watercolor paper. I'm not going to cut or anything. This is actually going to be my landscape. So remember, I'm going to make a horizon that shows where the sky and the land meet. So think about what type of landscape it is. Could it be a mountain? Is it a desert? Should I draw more of a flat line, or could it make it more interesting and do maybe a mountain? I think I'm going to try doing a mountain. I'm using a Sharpie to draw this. You could use pencil if you wanted to. So I got some mountains in there. It still needs a little something. I think I need to make it clear where the land is, so I drew another line. Maybe I could do some areas where there's some trees. I could do a little house, but I'm making sure to keep some area for when I want to do my ladybug, which I'll show you how to do if you want to do it like mine. It might be a landscape, but maybe there's just a little bit of a road or a path, and that leaves me plenty of space to add maybe some grass. So that's where the crayon is going to come in. Remember, if you've done watercolor with me, sometimes we'll put crayon down because I know when you put watercolor on top of it, you'll still be able to see that crayon color because wax will resist that watercolor. That's why we call this technique wax resist. Doesn't mean you just have to do grass. Maybe you want to do a flower. Maybe you don't want to do a flower. Maybe you want to do a bike that someone left in this field. It could totally be up to you. So I'm gonna go ahead, give it some color, baby color. Over here on this flower. What color should I do the flower? I think my favorite color, yellow. What is your favorite color? So as you're watching me, just think about how you can make your landscape. Maybe it's a desert and there's cactus. Maybe it's on Mars and there's just happens to be an alien ladybug living over there. All right, I'm gonna put in a little bit more crayon, add a little bit more detail, and then we'll start the watercolor. Okay, I'm back. This is what I came up with. Remember, wherever you put crayons is where the watercolor is going to resist. So anything you put in crayon is gonna stay there, so don't worry. So now is the time that you're going to decide what colors you want to do if you're going to do watercolor. Now remember, you can do this in marker, you can do this in crayons. I just happen to have some watercolors with me while we're remote learning, so I'm gonna use them. I think I'm gonna do a warm sky. So that means I'm going to dip in my water, let it drip, get a little bit of that red, put it down. If you want it darker, do more circles around your oval pan if that's the watercolor that you have. And then now I'm gonna do some orange. And I'm just gonna do it crazy all over the sky. I'm not gonna do patterns of color or anything like that. I'm just gonna go for it because I think that gives it the abstract, natural, nature kind of look. I want it to look like almost like the sky is melting into these beautiful warm colors. So I'll be right back and we'll check out what it looks like. Okay, so I kind of got a little bit ahead of myself and I just had so much fun that I ended up painting the whole thing. Remember, wherever you put that crayon, you'll still keep those lines. So I'm gonna put this to the side, and while you're letting it dry, if you decide to do watercolor, you can start to work on the ladybug. I'm gonna make a ladybug on another piece of paper, cut it out, and glue it, and then we'll see what that looks like. Okay, so I'm letting my landscape dry. Now I'm gonna work on the ladybug. So I think I'm just gonna use, since this is kind of a mixed media project, I'm gonna mix it up a little bit more. I'm gonna use some Crayola markers. I'm gonna draw a circle. Now, if you can't draw a circle, which I know you can, you're in first grade, you can draw a circle, but if you wanna trace something, you can, like I could have traced this Play-Doh. Now, ladybugs are symmetrical because their body has two mirroring sides. So whatever's on one side is on the other side. Don't forget you can give it a little face if you want to, some eyes. Ladybug, feel free to take some markers, color spots in. I'm gonna give this guy some funky looking eyes. You can give some legs, but remember, symmetry means it's the same on both sides. The thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put some red all over. You get to decide how many spots you wanna add to your ladybug. It could be 1 on each side. It could be 1,000 on each side. But your challenge is you gotta make it symmetrical. So think about maybe doing a variety. Could you do dots of different sizes? Is every ladybug exactly the same? I'm not sure. Maybe you can find some ladybugs outside and take a picture of them and show me. So when I do spots, I'm doing them on each side to keep up that natural symmetry that we find in nature. So now I have my ladybug. I think it's time that we cut him out, and then I'm gonna put him somewhere in my landscape. I'm gonna take my scissors. Remember, we cut out, not in. That would be very dangerous. And I'm just gonna cut around his body. I'm kind of wishing that I didn't do the legs because I know it's gonna be a little bit harder, but you know what? I'm just gonna be resilient and pull through and just cut my best around them. All right, the time has come. So now I have my watercolor painting. It's not quite dry yet, but I think it's ready to put the ladybug on. And I'm realizing, oh my gosh, this ladybug is huge. I don't even know where to put him. It's gonna look like he's taking over. But I had an idea. I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take a little bit of my craft glue. I bet a stick glue would work as well, but I'm gonna try the craft glue first. Get a little bit of those gunkies off it. And I'm gonna make it look like he is crawling right off the page. Like that, from the corner. Or maybe he's crawling onto the page. I like that better, actually. So I'm gonna put a little dot. Dot is a lot. Don't forget to close up your glue so it doesn't dry out overnight. And then I like to hold it for about 10 seconds. 1, 2, 3, 4. Isn't it beautiful? 5, 6, 7, 8. Yours can be beautiful too. 9, 10. All right, so I'm gonna let this dry. I'm so excited to see what kind of landscape you're gonna create. Don't forget to make a cute little ladybug for me that's symmetrical. And I am so excited to see these guys. And thank you so much for taking the time to do these specials activities. Your creativity is really important to me. And parents, thank you so much for helping your child through this. It means so much that we're able to continue the Christy creativity even during remote learning. Have a wonderful week.